Check out my shirt, guys! Isn't that great? Fake news is becoming a serious problem nowadays. It's become so widespread and expertly designed that many people have a hard time telling the difference between fake news and the real thing. It's a difficult thing to fix, especially considering most fake news is spread through social media, which is where most people get their news. There are a lot of efforts and public support behind creating tools to help curb the spread of misinformation online, but the best way to avoid being fooled yourself is to learn what to watch out for. Here are some tips to help you find the truth. Consider the source. Check the URL. Websites might be designed not only to look official, but to look exactly like the real thing. The real web address for ABC News is abcnews.go.com, not abcnews.com.co, and the difference between the news on each website is striking. Check the contact or about pages. Sometimes a lot more effort is put into the news stories than the rest of the website, and the about page might even admit it's a fantasy news website or have very minimal contact information. A proper news website would have a really extensive contact page with multiple ways to contact reporters, because real news stories are built on viewer contribution. Snopes, a website that has been debunking fake news and hoaxes since the 90s, has a list of fake news websites to watch out for. I will link that in the description. An article on the fake ABC News about Obama banning the Pledge of Allegiance is not only completely untrue, but doesn't even bother hiding it if you read the whole article. After a few pretty convincing paragraphs, it quotes Fappy the anti-masturbation dolphin as a serious source, and then spends a large and grammatically disastrous paragraph claiming the inaccuracy of Snopes as a fake news debunker. It's obviously fake if you read the whole thing, but the problem is that most people don't. Most people won't even read the article before commenting about it in their Facebook feed, and of those that do, few will read past the first few pretty convincing paragraphs, the part of the article that tries the hardest to seem legitimate. These fake news sites make money by ads, and to get good ad rates they need a lot of traffic and for people to stay on the website for at least a minute or so. They will try their hardest to seem legitimate even if they later descend into jokes, because they know that most people aren't going to read to the end of the article. The joke part of these posts are mainly there to protect them in case of lawsuit, because a lot of the things they claim are grounds for libel lawsuits. If they claim it's a joke, they can't be sued for intentionally misleading people or damaging reputations. They claim satire, but they don't truly fit any definition of the word. Satire is usually ironic in nature and tries to spark debate about a topic by mocking it. Satire does not try to convince a reader it's legitimate. If you are close to being convinced, check outbound links, check the author, and look for additional sources. These claims usually fall apart under very minimal fact-checking, but it's always better to find out for yourself than to be caught sharing something that is proven completely untrue. If something seems improbable or impossible, it probably is. There is a culture around not trusting the media nowadays, but even so, if Obama did something like ban the pledge, or Mike Pence claimed that gay conversion therapy saved his marriage, big news organizations would publish that. Even if all they care about is their bottom line, money, and profits, those stories would bring in a lot of viewers and high ratings, so it only benefit their bottom line. Another good point is the distinction between fake news and biased news. There are a lot of organizations and websites, both conservative and liberal, that take real news stories and twist them to fit their agenda. They might take old stories and repackage them to fit current events. Bad news can be as subtle as covering some issues at a higher or overly focused rate than others, leading a viewer to believe there's some massive conspiracy that no one's looking into. Likewise, they may dismiss stories that are consistent and troublesome because it doesn't fit the intended political slant of their audience. This is a bipartisan problem, with both liberal and conservative news sources guilty of it. It is important not to rely on any one source for your news, because news channels can make mistakes too. In the description, I've linked an article about how a fake news writer managed to get one of his stories reported as fact on Fox News. Double check your news, even if you're hearing it straight from the TV. Don't feel bad for being fooled. It is getting increasingly difficult to tell fake news from the truth, especially when they are designed to confirm biases we already have. If you're raised in a primarily Republican or Democratic family, news sources designed to fit your political view are always going to seem more believable at a glance. I've been fooled before. That old Trump quote about how he'd run as a Republican because they're the dumbest voters isn't true. It's embarrassing to admit you've been fooled, especially when it's something that disrespects or insults an entire group of people. I believe that we all want to believe that our fellow Americans want what is best for our country and its citizens. I do believe that all Americans feel that way, even if their idea of what is best is different than mine. I think it's incredibly important to be as informed as possible when making decisions that affect our entire nation, or even just our day-to-day lives. I know I want to be able to trust my neighbors just as much as I want them to be able to trust me. In addition to the other links I've mentioned, I'll link some well-known fact-checking sites below. I hope this video helped you spot the truth on your social feeds, and I hope you hear some good news very soon. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye. Check out my... Whoops! Ah! Okay.